Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at Karous for the Sega Dreamcast, which is another top-down shooter from Milestone, who, if you'll remember, also developed Raturgy and Chaosfield, two games I reviewed quite some time ago, and it was actually the last officially licensed game to be released for the Sega Dreamcast way back in 2007. And while the Dreamcast version was Japan exclusive, this game was eventually released in all regions as part of the Milestone Ultimate Shooting Collection for the Nintendo Wii. The story is really strange and kind of nonsensical, so I won't go too deep into it, but all you really need to know is that it concerns a giant crow/angel girl flying through the air carrying around a bucket of giant maggots and fighting an army of robots, so draw your own conclusions. Being that this is a Milestone shooter, it has a lot in common with the previous two. You still have your main shot and your sword and a shield that comes up automatically when you stop attacking, and it can block all incoming enemy bullets. And also, a lot of the bullets can be cleared from the screen by either shooting them down or swiping them away with your sword. The key difference here is that each ability can be powered up individually. The more you use them, the more effective they become, and you can also collect power-ups throughout each stage that level up your abilities, thus increasing your overall power level. You also have a super bomb available to you, but instead of a bomb, it's actually a barrier that damages anything it touches, while also providing you with some temporary invincibility. It works sort of like the Reflector Force in Gigawing, except that it doesn't recharge automatically, but instead it recharges as you shoot down enemies and block incoming bullets, so using it strategically is important to being able to use it frequently. This can be a pretty challenging shooter, especially in the last couple of stages, as is typical of Milestone shooters. This one goes full-on bullet hell and can really test your abilities, especially with limited continues. Karous' boss battles can be especially tough. Some of them use attacks that can't be blocked with your shield, so your only option is to try and dodge them. This game does feature a bunch of different difficulty settings though, so if you're having a hard time on normal, you can tone it down until you get your bearings. Overall, I really enjoyed the gameplay in Karous. It feels like a logical follow-up to the last two games, Raturgy especially. It's very similar but just different enough to set itself apart. Plus the controls are super smooth, the hit detection is on point, it's challenging without being frustrating, and it's just a lot of fun. Graphically, Karous is also very similar to Raturgy. It features the same cel-shaded style, but where Raturgy went for a very colorful and vibrant look, Karous definitely goes for a much darker look and tone. It features a lot of grays and usage of black and white, but it does throw in some splashes of color here and there, and overall I think it's a pretty good looking game with some cool enemy designs, some nice effects, and generally just very attractive art design. Not a bad looking game at all. The sound design is also really good, and again, very much in keeping with previous Milestone games. The soundtrack is 100% pounding techno music, which I've said before isn't typically my kind of music, in everyday life, but it's very fitting in high-intensity games like this. It sounds really good and it drives the action forward, so I definitely approve. Good sound on top of decent visuals and fun gameplay. So I like Karous a lot, and I would recommend it to shooter fans. The Dreamcast version can be pretty pricey though. Luckily, the Wii collection is pretty affordable, and there's also a version available for the 3DS, which can usually be found online for about 20 bucks or so. So you have some options available to you if you want to play this game, which I would suggest that you do. It has good graphics, good sound design, and really fun gameplay. Karous, the last official Dreamcast game to ever be released. It is awesome.